What we're looking at here is a classic Chinese chestnut. What an adaptation in nature. They make sure that that seed has ripened and is edible before they open up. I'm Philip Grushka, retired Director of Horticulture and Forestry for the Pittsburgh Parks Conservancy. Today we're in Frick Park in the shade of a really nice Chinese chestnut tree. Well before my arrival in Pittsburgh, the city forester Dale Vizzetti did a planting in Highland Park of 30 chestnut trees. And they knew it was just a matter of time before those trees would get the blight and die. But if they grew really well for 5, 10, 15 years, well, that's telling us that chestnut will grow here. And we've provided the seed to other growers so that they can go through that same process in being able to determine how well chestnut will function here. That way, if they do grow well here, we would be able to recreate the population that once was represented in Pennsylvania. And the heaviest lift is really happening in Frick Park. The park foreman at the time, Dick Wilford, began to plant chestnuts here in Frick Park. When I got to meet with Dick and we began discussing chestnuts, he goes, "I got chestnuts growing in Frick Park."
A whole basic idea is for these chestnuts to repopulate the park on their own. The squirrels hopefully will take them and dig holes and bury them and plant them, and they'll start coming up throughout the park.
What we're looking at here is a classic Chinese chestnut.
This one actually came up by itself with another tree. Some squirrel planted this chestnut tree here from one of the other ones, and he forgot it was here, and it sprouted. And it didn't take very long. It's only maybe 15 years old, if that. I like to plant anything in a park to help the wildlife, and chestnut trees are really good for that. So I was able to purchase some from the Game Commission, and I had an area here in the park where I was able to plant them where we were getting rid of some invasive plants.
What we're looking at here is Dick's work from about 15 years ago. There's a good chance that these trees may not live very long. They might be susceptible to the blight, but we're going to enjoy them while they're here. And as Dick mentioned, we're going to let nature run its course on this site. Let the squirrels forget where they planted them. Let the trees come up, and hopefully they'll come up in thickets where the deer can't get to them and browse them off.
The nice thing about in Frick Park, I don't think there was ever any original chestnut trees. So we might not have the fungus as bad as it is elsewhere. I actually called the Game Commission up the other day and talked to one of the foresters there, and they're actually developing a chestnut that has germs from the wheat that you use to make bread, and they're crossing that into the chestnut. And they're hoping to one day have a completely resistant chestnut. Parks Conservancy was really helpful in the last 20-some years now in doing tree planting for sure, because the forest is being desiccated by not only diseases and insects, but also the deer. We don't have a lot of new growth of trees coming up. So it's really helping with the Parks Conservancy planting trees every year, every spring and every fall. The more help you can get in the parks, the better you are. Well, I'm just glad that they grew the way they did.
Yeah, you've got potential here for this to be a viable orchard in the future. And then the other thing we have going on here is we have a funder who provides enough money every year for us to get 4 seed from the American Chestnut Foundation. We've been planting those seeds on this site, hoping that those trees will grow well enough that they will openly hybridize with the work that Dick has done. If we get 1 out of the 3 to grow up to the point where they can become instrumental on the site in openly hybridizing these trees, it's a win-win.
This video is made possible thanks to the Margaret Ritchie R. Battle Family Charitable Fund.